The night was quiet on the alien colony station. The long corridors outside the dorm were empty. Most students had gone to sleep. Inside one small room, a young human sat at his desk, reading on his screen. His roommate, a girl from another species, was lying on her bed with her back turned to him. The human had lived here for 3 months, sharing the small space with her. At first, he thought it would be strange, a human living side by side with an alien girl. But she kept to herself, spoke very little, and never looked at him for too long. She was quiet, secretive, but not unkind. Suddenly, the alarm lights on the ceiling flashed red. A loud metallic sound echoed through the dorm. The door slid shut, then locked with a heavy click. The human jumped to his feet, confused. "What's happening?" he asked, but no answer came. The computer screen went dark. The air vent slowed, leaving a strange, heavy silence. The alien girl sat up quickly. Her glowing eyes widened. She whispered something in her own language, words he did not understand. Then she turned toward him, and for the first time he saw fear in her face. "The door," he said. "It's locked." He pushed at the metal frame, but it did not move. "It must be a system error," he added, trying to calm himself. But she shook her head fast. Her hands were trembling. She pressed her back against the wall, breathing hard. "Not error," she whispered in broken human tongue. "It begins." He froze. "What begins?" She did not answer right away. Instead, she pulled her blanket tight around her shoulders as if hiding something. Her skin glowed faintly, a strange shimmer moving like fire under her skin. He had never seen her like this before. The silence grew, heavier. Only the sound of her fast breathing filled the room. He felt the tension pressing against him like invisible weight. He tried to speak again. "Look, we'll be fine. They'll fix the lock soon." But she shook her head again. Her voice was low, almost shaking. "No, too late." The human stepped back. He could feel something was very wrong. His roommate looked weaker and stronger at the same time, her body trembling, but her glowing eyes sharper, hungrier. He remembered how other students whispered about her species. They said during certain times they isolated themselves. They disappeared for days, sometimes weeks. No one explained why. No one dared to ask. Now he wondered if those whispers were true. And if so, why was he locked inside with her? He moved toward the communication panel, pressing the emergency call button. No signal, only static. The system had shut down completely. Her voice came again, softer, but urgent. "Human, stay away." He froze. Her tone was not cruel, but full of warning, as if she was trying to protect him from herself. The human felt his chest tighten. The room suddenly felt smaller, darker. The locked door behind him seemed more like a prison, and across from him his alien roommate was no longer just a quiet girl. She was something else, something hidden. Her glowing eyes fixed on him in the dim light, and she whispered words that chilled him. "We are trapped, and I cannot control what comes next." The silence that followed was heavier than any sound. He realized this night was only the beginning, and whatever secret she carried was now his danger too. The human stood frozen in the middle of the dorm room. The red light from the alarm still blinked faintly above the locked door. His alien roommate sat on her bed, clutching her blanket. Her glowing skin flickered like fire underwater. Minutes passed, but no one came to open the door. No message, no signal. The silence was sharp. The human tried to calm his heartbeat, but the air itself felt heavy. He turned toward her. "What do you mean, too late?" he asked. His voice was low but tense. She didn't look at him. Her head was bowed, strands of her strange silver hair falling over her face. She gripped the blanket so tight her claws tore small holes through the fabric. "Season," she whispered. Her broken human words trembled. "It starts now." The human frowned. He had heard whispers about her kind. Stories from the cafeteria, rumors from other students. Some laughed, saying aliens were strange. Some warned, saying their biology was dangerous, but no one ever explained clearly. He stepped closer, trying to see her face, but she turned away fast. "Don't," she said sharply. Her voice cracked, as if she was fighting something inside her. Her breathing grew heavier. He noticed small drops of sweat on her forehead, and her skin glowed brighter with each passing second. "You're sick," he said. I'll help you. Just tell me what's happening." Her head snapped up, and for the first time their eyes met. Her glowing eyes burned with both fear and something else, something wild. She shook her head again. "Not sick. Change." The human felt his throat tighten. He backed a little. His mind raced through possibilities. Some kind of alien fever? A dangerous chemical reaction? Or maybe the rumors were true. Her voice came softer, broken. "We go away during this time. We hide from humans, from all." He swallowed hard. His body felt cold, though the room was warm. She was trembling now, her hands gripping the bed frame as if holding herself back. Her warning echoed in his ears. Stay away. But the human couldn't stop staring. Something in her face had changed, her features sharper, her presence stronger. He could almost feel the heat radiating from her side of the room. The silence grew unbearable. His instinct said to keep his distance, to stand by the locked door and wait for help. But another part of him whispered that leaving her alone like this was dangerous, for her and for him. Then she whispered words that made his blood run cold. "If you come close, I will not stop myself." He froze, his heart hammered in his chest. He realized now this was not just about being locked in a room. This was about being locked with her, while her body was entering something even she could not control. The human swallowed. His eyes shifted to the locked door. His hands pressed against the cold metal. He hit it again and again, shouting, "Open up! Someone open the door!" But no one answered. Only the sound of his voice bouncing off the walls. He turned back, and his roommate was no longer hiding her face. Her eyes glowed bright in the dim light. Her breathing was ragged. Her claws dug into the mattress. He could feel it now. Something alive in the air. A pull between them he could not explain. It was like the atmosphere itself had changed. Thick, charged, dangerous. She whispered again. But this time her voice carried both fear and plea. "Please, stay far, or it will begin too fast." The human's chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. He knew he was standing at the edge of something he did not understand. One wrong step, and it would consume them both. The locked door behind him felt like a wall, keeping him trapped in fate. And in front of him, his alien roommate trembled like a storm ready to break. Whatever this season was, it was only starting, and he realized he might not survive what came next. The room was heavy with silence. The human stood close to the locked door, his palms still pressed against the cold metal. His alien roommate sat on her bed, shaking, her glowing eyes fixed on the floor. He swallowed. "Tell me," he said quietly. "What is happening to you?" For a moment she didn't answer. She pulled the blanket tighter, her claws trembling as they dragged along the fabric. Then, with a deep breath, she whispered, "Mating season." The words hit him like a shock. He blinked, not sure if he heard correctly. "Mating season?" Her shoulders shook. She turned her face away, shame written across it. "Yes," she said. "It comes once each cycle, our bodies. Not ours anymore, instincts stronger than mind." The human's chest tightened. He remembered the hushed voices of other students. They said her kind disappeared during certain months. They said it was dangerous. No one ever explained why. Now he understood. And he wished he didn't. "You mean," his voice cracked, "you can't control it?" She nodded slowly. "I try, but if close to you, no control." He backed against the door, his breath fast, his heart pounded so loud he thought she could hear it. The words echoed in his mind. "If close to you, no control." Her glowing skin brightened, small sparks of light flickering under the surface. She held her head in her hands, whispering words in her own language. Her voice broke, almost like she was begging the air. The human clenched his fists, His instinct screamed to stay away, to keep distance, but another part of him felt something else. Pity, maybe even fear for her. She wasn't just dangerous, she was also suffering. He took a careful step forward. "Is there something I can do?" he asked softly. Her head snapped up, her glowing eyes locked onto his. For a heartbeat, the air burned between them. She shook her head violently. "No, you stay back, human. If you touch, it will bind." "Bind?" he whispered. Her lips trembled. "Life bond," she said. "One touch, one mistake. Forever." The human's stomach dropped. He stared at her, shocked. A bond for life? From a single touch? He couldn't believe it. But the look in her eyes told him it was true. She closed her eyes, pressing her body against the wall as if trying to melt into it, her voice softer now. "You should not be here. Humans never see us like this. It is forbidden." He looked at the sealed door, his fists tightening. "I didn't choose this either. I'm trapped just like you." Her breathing grew heavier. He could see her body tense. Her claws dug into the bed. Her skin glowed brighter with each passing second. The human's throat went dry. He whispered, "How long will it last?" Her answer was almost a sob. "Days, maybe weeks." His heart skipped. Weeks? The lockdown might end tomorrow, or maybe later. But what if it didn't? Could he survive being in the same room with her this long? Her glowing eyes opened again, softer now, but filled with warning. "Please, human, stay away. Don't come near me. Don't speak to me. Don't look too long." But he already had looked too long. And in that moment, he realized something terrifying. It wasn't just her instincts pulling at him. Something deep inside him was also reacting. His heart beat faster, not only from fear but from something he didn't want to name. He pressed his back to the cold door, closing his eyes for a second, trying to fight the heat building in the air. When he opened them again, she was staring at him with a mixture of fear and longing. The human whispered, "We're trapped, both of us." Her glowing skin flickered brighter, and her voice trembled, like a storm waiting to break. "Then you must pray, human, that you are strong enough to resist me." The silence that followed was heavier than any scream, and the human realized this was only the first night. The air in the dorm grew heavier with every passing minute. The red alarm lights had stopped flashing, but the door stayed locked, sealing them both inside. The human leaned against the wall, breathing hard. His alien roommate sat on her bed, her body trembling like she was fighting an invisible storm. Her skin glowed brighter now, waves of light rolling under the surface as if her blood carried fire. She pressed her hands to her face, whispering words in her own tongue. Her claws scratched faintly against her cheeks, leaving thin, glowing marks. The human's chest tightened. He wanted to say something, but fear and caution chained his voice. He could feel the heat radiating from her side of the room, like a fire spreading without smoke. Suddenly her body jerked forward. She let out a sharp gasp, her back arching. The blanket slipped from her shoulders, falling to the floor. She gripped the bed frame with both hands, claws digging into the metal with a screech. The human froze. "Hey, are you all right?" Her glowing eyes snapped toward him, and in that single look he saw both fear and hunger. Her lips parted, trembling. "Stay back," she cried. Her voice cracked, broken between warning and plea. Her breathing turned ragged, short, and fast. She shook her head violently, as if fighting something inside her. Her skin shimmered, light pulsing like a heartbeat. Her body shook harder, and then she collapsed forward onto the bed. The human's heart pounded. He rushed 2 steps toward her, instinct telling him to help, but her voice cut through the air, sharp and desperate. "No, don't touch." He froze mid-step. His hands trembled. He had never seen anyone suffer like this. Her whole body seemed caught between fire and pain. Her glowing eyes shut tight as if she was holding back a scream. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, she lifted, her head, her face pale but burning, her eyes locked on him, glowing like molten gold. She whispered, almost breaking, "This is the first surge. It will come again, stronger, each time." The human swallowed hard, his throat dry. How? Many times? She shook her head slowly. Many. Until the season ends, until instincts win, or I break. Her words sent a chill through him. He stared at her trembling figure, torn between fear and compassion. If he left her alone, she might not survive. But if he got too close, the bond she spoke of could trap him forever. The silence, stretched thin until it almost snapped. He whispered, I can't just watch you suffer. Her glowing eyes widened, her breath hitched. She shook her head fast. If you help, you risk all, my kind. We don't choose during season, instinct chooses for us, it will see you. It will bind you. Her voice was weak, but her warning was sharp like a blade. Still, the human's fists clenched at his side. His heart pulled him forward even as fear pushed him back. Another wave hit her. Her body stiffened, she cried out, clutching the mattress. Her claws tore through the sheets. The sound echoed in the room like tearing metal. The human took one step closer despite her warning, his voice low, steady. I'm not leaving you like this, she gasped, her glowing skin flaring brighter than before, her whole body trembling violently. With effort, she lifted her head, her eyes wide and filled with terror. Then you will not leave at all, she whispered. Her words hung in the air like a curse. The human felt the weight of them sink into his chest. He stood still, caught between danger and choice. And in that moment, as her glowing body shook and the room filled with heat, he realized something terrifying. This was only the beginning. The first surge was over, but the next would come. Stronger, faster, and hungrier, and, when it did, he might not be able to resist. The human stood frozen. His hands shook at his sides, his heart pounded so loud it echoed in his ears. On the bed, his alien roommate lay trembling, her body glowing faintly. Her claws clutched the torn sheets as she fought another wave of heat. Her warning still echoed in the air. If you help, you will not leave at all. He pressed his back against the cold wall, breathing hard. He knew what she meant. One touch could bind them forever, but leaving her to suffer, watching her body twist in pain, felt worse than any fear. Minutes dragged, like hours, her breathing heavy, her glowing eyes flickering open. She looked at him with fear and shame. Her lips trembled as she whispered, Human. You should turn away. Close your eyes, pretend I'm not here. But he couldn't. His fists clenched tighter, he whispered back, I can't ignore you. She closed her eyes, shaking her head. If you stay close, my instincts will see you, and then nothing. We'll stop it. Her voice cracked, almost begging him to leave her alone. Yet when she said the words, her glowing eyes glanced at him again, and in them he saw something she could not hide. Loneliness. He stepped forward, slow, cautious. Each step felt heavier than the last. I don't care what your instincts say. You're not alone in this. Her breath caught. Her glowing skin flared brighter. She sat up quickly, her claws gripping the bed frame. Stop, she cried, her voice broke with fear. Do you understand what you risk? He stopped a few feet away. His heart raced. Maybe I don't. But I know what happens if I do nothing. You'll break yourself apart. Her lips parted as if to argue, but no words came. She trembled, staring at him like he was the most dangerous thing in the room, even more than her own instincts. The human swallowed hard. His mind screamed to step back, but his chest burned with something else, a need to stand by her. He couldn't explain it. It wasn't just pity. It was something deeper, a connection forming in the silence. Another wave hit her. Her body jerked. She gasped loudly, almost falling off the bed. Without thinking, the human rushed forward. He grabbed the chair beside the desk, sliding it closer, and sat at the edge of her space. Her glowing eyes widened in shock, her breathing sharp. Why? She whispered. Why do this? He looked at her trembling form, sweat on her brow, the glow pulsing under her skin. He whispered firmly, because no one deserves to suffer alone. Her claws shook. She lowered her gaze, her lips pressed tight, as if hiding words. For a long moment, silence filled the room again. Only their breathing, heavy and uneven. The human reached for the jug of water on the desk. He poured it into a cup and set it near her bed. "Drink," he said softly. Her glowing eyes lifted to his hand near the cup. Her body tensed. Every instinct in her seemed to scream for her to grab his skin instead of the glass. She shook, fighting herself. Finally, she snatched the cup quickly, avoiding his touch, and drank. Her chest rose and fell slower now, the water cooling her slightly. She set the empty cup down with trembling hands. Her glowing eyes flickered, and for the first time, a small sound escaped her lips. Not a warning, but a whisper. "Human. You're different." He leaned back in the chair, his heart still pounding. "Maybe, or maybe I'm just stubborn." Her lips curved faintly, though it wasn't quite a smile. Her voice soft, almost afraid. "If you stay, you will be mine." The words lingered like fire in the air. The human felt his throat tighten. He didn't know if she meant it as a threat, a promise, or a confession, but as he sat there, refusing to leave her side, he realized his choice was already made. Whatever came next, he had chosen to face it with her. The human sat in the chair, his back straight, his eyes fixed on her trembling figure. The room was silent except for the sound of her uneven breaths. Her glowing skin flickered like fire beneath her pale surface. His chest rose and fell quickly, but he refused to move away. Then the lights in the dorm flickered once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness swallowed the room. Only her glow remained, painting the walls in shifting shades of gold and silver. The human's heart skipped. He reached out in the dark, fumbling for the small desk lamp. He clicked it on, its soft light pushing away the shadows. But when he looked up, his breath caught. She was staring at him, her glowing eyes fixed directly on his. Her body leaned forward slightly. Her claws dug into the mattress as if to anchor herself. She whispered in a trembling voice, "Too close." He froze, realizing the power outage had changed everything. Without the normal hum of machines, without the steady glow of ceiling lights, the room felt smaller, tighter. Every sound echoed. Outer, every breath more noticeable. He whispered back, "I'm not touching you, I'm just here." But her voice cracked, almost breaking. "Doesn't matter, my body. It knows you're near." Her words sent a shiver down his spine. He gripped the arm of the chair to keep steady, his throat dry. He wanted to look away, but her glowing eyes trapped him, pulling him closer without movement. She lowered her gaze, her voice trembling. "Every time I breathe, I smell you, human, and it burns inside me." His chest tightened, his hands trembled. He tried to steady his voice. "Then, I'll hold my breath," he whispered, trying to break the tension. But the weak joke fell flat in the heavy air. Her claws scraped the bed frame, sparks of light flashing under her skin. "You don't understand," she whispered. "The closer you are, the harder it is. I'm losing the fight." The human leaned forward slightly, ignoring the warning bells in his mind, his voice low but steady. "Then don't fight it alone." Her glowing eyes snapped up again, shock flashing in them. Her breath caught sharply. She shook her head violently. "No, if I give in, if I touch you, it will bind. Do you hear me? Forever." He swallowed hard, his chest heavy. The word forever echoed in his mind. But when he looked at her trembling form, her glowing skin flickering like a dying flame, he couldn't bring himself to move away. Suddenly, her body convulsed. Another surge hitting her. She cried out softly, falling sideways on the bed. Her claws ripped the sheets again, her glowing eyes squeezed shut, her breath ragged and fast. The human stood quickly, instinct taking over. He grabbed the lamp, moving it closer so she wouldn't be lost in darkness. He crouched near her bed, but careful not to touch. "Breathe, just breathe," he urged. Her glowing eyes opened suddenly, locking onto him. Her body froze, her breath caught, and for a long moment, they just stared at each other, the air between them hot and charged. His hand hovered inches from her arm, ready to steady her if she fell again. Her gaze darted to his hand and she whispered, voice trembling like a breaking string, "One more inch, human, and we belong to each other." The words shook him to his core. His hand hung in the air, his heart screaming to help, his mind screaming to pull back. He slowly lowered his hand, stopping short, his voice cracked but firm. "I won't touch you unless you ask." Her glowing eyes softened, confusion and pain mixing together. She whispered, almost to herself, "Why do you hold back? Others would not. Humans are not supposed to resist." He sat back slowly, his chest heaving. "Maybe I'm not like the others," he whispered. Her claws loosened their grip on the bed. Her glowing skin dimmed slightly. Her breath steadied. For a brief moment, silence filled the room again, heavy but calmer. Yet in that silence, they both knew the truth. The next surge would come stronger, and sooner or later, choice might no longer matter. The human sat stiff in the chair, his knuckles white as he gripped the armrests. Across from him, the alien girl lay trembling on her bed. Her glowing skin dimmed for a moment after the last surge, but he could see it building again beneath the surface like fire under thin ice. The dorm was still dark, only the small lamp casting faint light between them. Shadows danced across her glowing figure. Her breath came in short, uneven bursts. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The silence was heavy, too heavy. Then she whispered, voice raw, "Why do you stay? You feel it too, don't you?" The human swallowed hard. He didn't want to answer because deep inside he knew it was true. He did feel it, the strange heat in the air, the pull of her glowing eyes, the way his chest tightened when she looked. At him, it was more than fear now. He forced his voice steady. "I stay because you're not alone, that's all." But she shook her head. Her silver hair clung to her damp skin. Her glowing eyes burned into him. "No, human. You stay because you want something. You think I don't see it?" Instincts speak to instincts. Her words struck him. His heart thudded painfully. He wanted to deny it, to call it nonsense. But when her gaze lingered on him, his breath caught. He realized she was right. Something in him was responding to her, something he didn't choose. She pushed herself upright, her claws gripping the edge of the bed. Her body shook, her skin flickering brighter. Her voice dropped lower, almost like a growl. "Do you know what my scent does to your kind?" His throat went dry. He shook his head slowly, her glowing eyes narrowed. "It burns your blood, it stirs desire where you should feel fear, and once it begins, you cannot fight it for long." The human clenched his fists tighter. His chest rose and fell heavily. He wanted to call her wrong, but the heat rising inside him told another truth. Every breath he took carried her strange alien scent, sweet and sharp, wrapping around his thoughts. He stood suddenly, backing toward the locked door, his voice rough. "No, I won't let it control me." She laughed softly, but it wasn't joy. It was broken, bitter. "You think you can resist? Even I can't, human." Her claws pressed into the mattress, her body trembling. "And if you fall, there is no escape. The bond will chain us forever." His back hit the door, his hands pressed flat against the cold surface. He closed his eyes, whispering to himself, "I'm not an animal. I can fight this." But when he opened his eyes, she was watching him. Her glowing gaze softer now, almost sorrowful. "You fight because you are kind," she whispered. "But kindness is the most dangerous thing here." Her words twisted inside him. He wanted to believe kindness could save them, but maybe she was right. Maybe his choice to stay close would only doom them both. Another wave struck her. She gasped, her body arching, her claws tearing deeper into the sheets. A low cry escaped her lips, raw and desperate. The heat in the room spiked, pressing against his skin. He clenched his jaw, every instinct screaming to rush to her side. But he remembered her warning. One touch and forever would begin. Still, he couldn't tear his eyes away. His heart pounded with more than fear now. Something deeper, unwanted, rising no matter how hard he fought it. Her voice broke through the heavy air, weak but sharp. "Human, if you come closer now, it will not be me who chooses." He froze, his body trembling as much as hers, his chest heavy with a truth he could no longer deny. It wasn't just her instincts anymore. His own were awakening too. and the longer they stayed trapped together, the thinner the line between danger and desire became. The locked door no longer felt like protection. It felt like a cage for both of them, and soon, he feared, there would be no walls strong enough to hold back what was coming. The dorm room felt smaller with every breath. The human pressed his back against the locked door, his chest rising and falling heavily. Across from him, the alien girl shook as another surge of heat coursed through her. Her glowing skin flickered. Wildly, like fire struggling against the dark, her claws gripped the bed frame until metal bent under her strength. Sweat rolled down her face. Her glowing eyes locked on him with a mixture of fear and something else. Longing she could no longer hide. The human whispered, his voice rough. "Just hold on. You're stronger than this." But she shook her head fast, her silver hair clinging to her glowing skin. "No, I cannot," she whispered. "Every moment is worse than the last. Instinct is winning." He clenched his fists, fighting the pull inside his chest. The scent in the air had grown stronger, sharper. Each breath made it harder to think clearly. His body wanted to move toward her, even as his mind screamed to stay away. Then she said words that froze him. "Do you know what happens if I touch you now?" He shook his head slowly, his throat dry, her glowing eyes narrowed. "Bonding ritual, my kind. One touch of skin to skin during season, and the bond forms. It ties us, life to life, soul to soul. No escape, no ending." The human's heart dropped. "Forever?" he whispered. She nodded, her voice breaking. "Forever, human. My people believe it is fate. Once begun, even death cannot unmake it." His breath caught in his throat, his palms pressed harder into the door. The weight of her words felt like chains already. Her body shook again. She fell forward suddenly, almost sliding off the bed. Her claws scraped the floor. Her voice cracked. "Stay back!" But instinct overpowered his fear. Without thinking, the human rushed forward. He caught the edge of the desk chair with one hand, steadying her with the other before she could hit the ground. For a moment, silence filled the room. His hand hovered over her arm, so close his skin almost brushed her glowing flesh. Her glowing eyes widened in horror. Her breath hitched sharply. "Don't," she whispered, desperate. "1 inch more, and we are bound." The human froze, his hand trembling in the air. He pulled back just before contact, his heart thundering in his chest, his whole body shaking from the closeness. She collapsed back onto the bed, gasping. Her claws tore into the mattress again. Her glowing skin pulsing like fire, she turned her head toward him, tears glowing faintly at the edges of her eyes. "Why do you risk it? Why do you keep coming near?" He swallowed hard, his voice rough but steady. "Because I won't let you break alone." Her lips trembled, her glowing eyes softened. For a moment she looked at him not with fear, but with something else, something fragile and dangerous. "If you say those words again, I will not stop myself," she whispered. The human stepped back, forcing distance. His chest heaved, his thoughts tangled. Every part of him wanted to rush forward, to ease her suffering. But the truth was clear. One mistake, one slip of control, and his life would never be his own again. The silence pressed down heavy on them both. She curled into herself on the bed, trembling like a storm waiting to break. He leaned against the wall, sweat dripping down his face. They both knew the truth now. The bond was no longer a distant danger. It was hanging by a thread, waiting for a single moment of weakness. And as her glowing eyes closed and another surge began to build, the human realized he might not survive the night without crossing that line. The dorm was silent except for the sound of their breathing. The human sat on the floor now, his back against the cold wall, his shirt stuck to his skin with sweat. His chest rose and fell in heavy rhythm. Across from him, the alien girl lay curled. On the bed, her glowing skin dimmed and flared like waves in the dark. She gripped the torn sheets tightly as if she feared she would lose control if she let go. Minutes dragged into hours. The human kept his distance, but his eyes never left her. He could not close them, not even for rest. Fear, mixed with something else, kept him awake, something he didn't want to name. Finally, her trembling voice broke the silence. "Human." He lifted his head, his voice soft but tired. Yes? She turned slightly, her glowing eyes half hidden by her silver hair, her lips parted, trembling. If the bond happens, you will belong to me. But I will also belong to you. The human said nothing. His heart thudded heavier at her words. She closed her glowing eyes, her voice cracked. Do you know what that means for me? For my kind? He leaned forward slightly, listening. She whispered, almost choking. It means shame. It means exile. No one of my people may bond with a human. They will take me away, call me broken, call me ruined. The human's stomach twisted. He had guessed it was forbidden, but hearing her admit it was different, it sounded like a death sentence. Her glowing eyes opened again, wet with faint tears. That is why I beg you to stay away, not only for you, but for me. If we bind, my life is over. His throat tightened, his hands curled into fists. He whispered, Then why do you look at me like that? Her lips trembled, her breath shaky. Because I can't stop. My body calls to you. My heart calls too. Her voice broke on the last word. The human's chest burned. His fear twisted with something deeper now. He whispered, Are you saying you want this? Her claws dug into the sheets, her glowing eyes darted away. No, she said quickly. Yes, she added softly. I don't know, human. I don't know what's me and what's instinct anymore, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid if you touch me, I won't want you to stop. Her confession cut through him like a blade. He leaned his head back against the wall, eyes closing tight, his breath uneven. For a long moment, neither spoke. Only the heavy air filled with their racing hearts. Finally, he whispered, I should hate this. I should want to get as far from you as possible. But I don't. Her head snapped toward him, her glowing eyes wide with shock. What did you say? He opened his eyes, his gaze steady, though his voice shook. I don't want to leave you. Even if I could walk out that door right now, I wouldn't. Her lips parted. No words came. Her claws loosened their grip on the sheets. For the first time since the surges began, she looked less like a storm and more like a girl. Scared, fragile, longing. Her glowing eyes softened. Shimmering with unshed tears, she whispered, Don't say that, human. Don't give me hope. But he leaned forward, his voice steady now. It's not hope. It's truth. The silence stretched again. But it was different now. It wasn't heavy with fear alone, it carried something else. Connection. Yet beneath it all, danger still lingered. Her instincts hadn't vanished. Her body still trembled with heat, and she whispered her final warning, voice breaking. If the bond comes, you must not blame me. I cannot fight forever. The human's eyes locked with hers in the dim glow, and in that moment, both of them knew. If one more surge struck, choice might not matter anymore. The night dragged on. The human sat with, his back against the wall, his eyes heavy but sharp, his body tense. Across the room, the alien girl lay trembling. Her glowing skin pulsed faintly with each ragged breath. For hours they had been trapped together, fighting instinct, fighting force. But just when the silence seemed endless, a new sound broke through, the muffled thud of heavy boots outside the locked door. The human's head snapped up. He heard voices, deep and urgent. The guards. They had come at last. A metallic clang shook the door. Someone shouted, Stand back. We will breach the lock. The human's chest tightened. He glanced at his roommate. Her glowing eyes went wide with terror. She shook her head violently, whispering, No, no, not them. He frowned. But they can help. They'll open the door. Her glowing skin flared brighter, her voice sharp with panic. You don't understand. If they see me like this, I will be taken forever. Her claws clutched the sheets, her whole body trembling harder than before. She looked at him with desperate eyes. Please, human, don't let them in. The human froze, his fists clenched. He could hear the guards working at the lock. Sparks hissed as tools scraped against the metal. He was caught between two impossible choices. On one side, safety, freedom, escape. On the other, her, fragile, afraid, and begging him to protect her. The human swallowed hard, his voice low. If they come in, what will they do? Her lips trembled, her glowing eyes wet with fear. They will take me away, lock me in chamber, maybe forever. I will never return here, never see you again. Her words hit him like a blade. The thought of her being dragged away, treated like a danger instead of a person, twisted his chest. Another voice outside shouted, "Step away from the door, last warning." The human stood, his hands shaking, his mind raced. He had only seconds. He turned toward her, her glowing eyes locked onto him, searching his face. "What are you going to do?" she whispered. His heart pounded. He took a deep breath. "I'm going to protect you," she gasped, shaking her head. "No! If you stand against them, they will punish you too." But he didn't care. Something inside him had already chosen. He moved quickly to the door, pressing his palms flat against it, blocking the entry. The metal shook again as the guards pushed. He shouted back, his voice firm, "Stay out, she's not ready, you'll kill her if you break in." There was silence on the other side, then another metallic crash, harder this time. The alien girl sat up, her claws trembling. "Human, why? Why risk yourself for me?" He turned his head, his voice rough but steady. "Because no one should decide your fate but you. Not them, not even me." Her glowing eyes softened, shimmering with tears. For a moment she looked at him as if he was something more than just a human. The door groaned under the force outside, sparks showered from the lock. The human pressed harder, his back braced, his muscles burned, but he refused to move. "Human," the guards roared, "step away or be restrained." He shouted back, "Then restrain me, but you're not taking her." Inside the room, the alien girl gasped. Her claws covered her lips, her glowing skin flared brighter, her voice trembling. "You chose me, against your own kind." The human's chest heaved. Sweat rolled down his forehead. He whispered back without turning, "I told you I won't let you face this alone." The door shook harder. Another second and it might burst. But in that tense moment, something shifted inside her. Her glowing eyes blazed and she whispered words that cut through the chaos. "Then you are mine, human, whether we bond or not. You are mine." The human's heart thundered, his back still pressed against the door, and for the first time he realized the truth. He hadn't just chosen to protect her, he had chosen to belong to her. The door shuddered one last time, then the guards froze. Their voices stopped mid-shout. Something had changed. The human lowered his hands slowly, keeping his body pressed against the door. His chest heaved, sweat dripping down his face. Inside, the room. The alien girl's glowing skin pulsed rapidly. She rose slowly, her eyes never leaving his face. The human whispered, "It's over, for now." She blinked, unsure, then stepped closer, her small claws brushing against his arm. "Over. But what now?" He shook his head. "We don't know yet, but whatever comes, we face it together." Outside, the guards hesitated. Their footsteps slowed, their shouts softened. Some of them looked confused, others angry, but none dared push further. The human's heart raced. He knew this was the fragile moment, the one chance to escape the control of others. The alien girl's glow dimmed slightly, her voice quiet, almost shy. I never thought a human would fight for me like this." He smiled faintly. "I never thought I would find someone like you." For the first time in days, the room felt calm, the tension slowly melting away. They moved toward the window, peering. Out at the night sky, stars scattered across the horizon like distant sparks of hope. She whispered, "The mating season. It's almost over, but we are still here, together." He nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The human had fought through fear, through unknown dangers, and now they stood side by side, their fates intertwined. A soft wind entered the room, carrying the scents of the forest and distant fires. The alien girl inhaled deeply, feeling freedom touch her senses for the first time. Do you want to leave? She asked, looking at him carefully. He paused. Yes, but not just tonight. Not just to escape. We need to find a place where we both belong. A place where no one can control you. A place where we can choose our path. Her glowing skin shimmered, brighter. She moved closer, resting her small hand on his chest. Then we will go together. The human felt her warmth, her trust, and something deeper, something that went beyond instinct or survival. A bond had formed, unspoken but powerful. They prepared quickly, gathering what little they could carry. The alien girl looked back at the room one last time. The place of fear and struggle. Now it held memories of courage, of daring to fight, of human kindness. He whispered softly, "We leave it behind, but we take what matters most." She nodded, understanding perfectly, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "You," she said simply. Outside, the forest was quiet, the night calm, yet full of unknown challenges. Their steps were slow but steady, each movement a promise, each breath a shared courage. The human glanced down at her. "No matter what happens, we face it together." Her small hand gripped his firmly. "Together," she repeated, and this time it felt like a vow. The stars above flickered in the sky, watching silently as they stepped into the night. Two unlikely companions, bound by choice, by trust. By the trials they had survived, the human realized he had entered her world as a stranger, as a protector. But now, he had found something far greater. A partner, a friend, a bond stronger than any fear. And in that moment, the night seemed to promise a new beginning. Not just for him, not just for her, but for both of them, together, ready to face whatever the universe had in store.